7 firefighters were inside the building when the roof collapsed. Now there's another flame that you can't see. It's just over in that direction. 30 minutes ago, we showed you a 64 Chevy Impala. Well, I guess now it's time to go back to the future. Evacuations are currently underway. This scene has been handed over from the fire department to the Department of Ecology. And we showed you just a moment ago, you could see the water levels hitting the side of the bridge. And then now just a heavy layer of what looks like creek sediment. Does not sound like the two scenes, the one from downtown and the one in North Spokane, are connected. And this might be the most visual flooding that we've seen all morning. Again, thank you so much. The cut for summer starts now, 2 days before Thanksgiving this year. I don't know if it's still winter back there in Spokane, but I'm on the water right now in January. Stu and Ryder holding on to Stu right now, taking a jump. And a wipeout. What a fantastic finish.
When the cold air starts drifting in, you start hearing the chatter of how bad it's going to be, you know, have you got a place to stay? And so you just start hearing the noise.
This is Diana. She stays at the Union Gospel Mission, or UGM's women's shelter in Spokane, but was born and raised in Texas. She is chronically homeless, and she says she would not be here if it were not for the St. Joseph's Hospital in Lewiston, Idaho.
They paid for my bus ticket. It was like $50, and it was like 2 hours to get from Lewiston to Spokane.
Now, I reached out to the hospital, and while they did not confirm whether or not they sent Diana to Spokane, they did say that they sometimes help people return home via public transportation when it's requested. But what about sending people to a nearby shelter?
We've created this ourselves, and we've created a model that rewards the bad behavior.
That's Phil Altmeyer, CEO of UGM. Altmeyer says they housed over 2,300 people across 3 shelters in Spokane County over the past year. 58% of them last lived outside of the county before becoming homeless. One man staying at the shelter says he lived homeless in several states and no one was talking about Spokane.
Most people from around the country don't even know Spokane exists, to be 100% honest.
Well, staying at UGM is not the same as staying in the streets of Spokane. You must first pass a breathalyzer test, and then once every 30 days, pass a urine test. But for those not looking to recover, Altmeyer says Spokane has plenty of resources to attract.
Other cities are clamping down and saying, we're not going to let you sit and lie and do drugs right out in public. So where are you going to go if that's your lifestyle?
Altmeyer believes most of the homeless people living unsheltered in downtown Spokane are from outside of the county and are only here because of the resources. But according to the city of Spokane, Altmeyer is incorrect because their data shows most of the people living on the streets are from here. In fact, they say about 73% of all homeless people living unsheltered in Spokane County became homeless while living here. The other 27% lived elsewhere. And of those who lived outside of Spokane County, the city says about 34% lived somewhere else within the state of Washington. So, to answer the question, where did all the homeless people in Spokane County come from? One local shelter says most of their residents are from outside of the county, while the city says most living on the streets are from here. As for Diana, she is thankful for all the help provided to her by her shelter and for the friends she's made along the way.
It's been a long journey, and I love my UGM and I love my Tracy.
In Spokane, I'm Noah Boelter, Nonstop Local. When Brewer was born, he weighed just over a pound, or about the same as a can of soup. And according to his parents, his hands were the size of a fingernail, but you wouldn't be able to tell any of that if you saw him now. Brewer likes playing sports, hanging out with friends, and smashing things. But all of those things are pretty normal for a 2-year-old. What's abnormal is how he got here. Brewer's mom and dad are Haley and Dom Parola. They were on vacation at 27 weeks pregnant when Mama noticed that her belly hadn't grown since their last trip to the doctor 7 weeks ago.
I just have this feeling that something's wrong. Can we please do an ultrasound, even if I'm just being crazy.
That's when the doctor told them they need to go straight to the hospital because there was no amniotic fluid left in the womb. That fluid is essential for the baby's growth, and without it, the baby could have trouble breathing or develop a series of health problems.
Basically, everything that we had planned just went out the window. We had to call our work and say, hey, we're not going to be in for a while.
They end up having the baby at 28 weeks, which makes him a very preterm baby. After 91 days in the NICU, the Perolas finally got to take their boy home, but that brought them even more challenges. He was still hooked up to oxygen and he was being fed through a tube. Oh, and it happened during COVID, so they felt completely on an island until they got connected to Joya.
Joya was kind of that face to come in and help us and tell us that everything is going to be okay.
They worked with a series of Joya therapists for the first 2 years of Brewer's life. Thankfully, because they started so early, Brewer is hitting all his milestones and is on pace for a healthy childhood.
Life would be really difficult, I think, for him if we hadn't have started so early.
Well, thankfully now Brewer is healthy enough to do all his favorite things with his friends and family. I just wouldn't hand him another mic, probably again, for a while. For now, reporting from Joya, I'm Noah Boelter. Now, stop looking.